Welcome with this on Season 4, Episode 41. We watched Tiny House Nation, Season 2, Episode 1. I'm Chris Lorenz.
Hey, this is James.
Noah Singer.
Tiny Max Nation.
Brian.
This is Harrison.
Anna House.
Big crew tonight. Big crew.
7.
Well, we're all, as some of you know, we're in Seattle, which is some sort of epicenter for some stuff happening in the world today. So we're all just hanging out, you know. We're all working from home, hanging out.
Putting our mouths on microphones that we share with each other.
Sitting close together.
Yeah, I don't know if we have enough social distance from each other right
It's
now.
definitely not a 6-foot perimeter right now.
Hey, if we get it, we're all going down.
No, it seems logical.
But we're self-contained.
We are.
We're not infecting others.
Our pod crew is self-contained. This is all we're doing.
Hopefully the Who put this
We're
on.
we're just gonna pump these out now that we're all quarantined together.
Yeah, we'll
In
get
case,
like we'll get like a Groupon on the caskets, you know? It'll work out.
All right.
Ooh.
Well, Harrison, give us a description on this show for us.
In Tiny House Nation, renovation experts and hosts John Weisbarth and Zach Giffen travel across America to show off ingenious small spaces and the inventive people who live in them, as well as help new families design and construct their own mini dream home in a space no larger than 500 square feet. From a micro apartment in New York City to a caboose car turned home in Montana to a micro-sized mobile home for road tripping, this is a series that celebrates the exploding movement of tiny homes. That's Tiny House Nation. And I guess it was originally on FYI, but we watched it on Netflix.
Yeah. So Netflix has the first 2 seasons. The show went 5 seasons and was canceled.
Okay.
5
So-
seasons is a good run.
Sure. It
5
seems
seasons in a movie.
it seems like this is a very fixer-upper-esque show. Like, it is fixer-upper, but for tiny houses. It's 2 people. They go and, you know, fix up a house a little different, but then, you know, you get to know them, but not too much. Like, there's not too much, like, I don't know what these guys' home lives are.
I know nothing about these guys. I know one of
they're
them has a Mount Baker shirt.
That was the builder.
Oh, and the other one looks...
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Okay, the hosts are John and Zach.
Which one is the third Manning brother?
John. So John is the host, and Zach is
John
considered
Manning.
the co-host.
Oh.
I can't pronounce John's last name, or I would. It's
Okay.
like Weisbarth.
Yeah, I already said it. Weisbarth.
Yeah, Harrison really just went with it real smooth, and I wanted to see
I
if he could
was
do it
just
again.
like, I didn't know. I didn't know. I
That's a
didn't
tough
hear
one.
Should we all say it at the same time?
I still don't know how to say it.
No.
Dun,
Definitely
dun,
not.
dun, 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 dun.
So
Dun, dun.
so this is also kind of a doppelganger. We did Tiny House Hunters many moons ago.
Definitely doppelganger. It's the same show.
No,
No, it's way
no,
different,
it's
dude.
way
It's way different.
Okay, instead of 3 houses, there's just one.
Yeah, it's
There you
way
go.
different. Instead of you seeing 3 and getting
I
the
don't know.
pricing and like not actually fixing up any of this house, getting it to the way you want,
So it's a shittier version.
I mean,
I like this
Okay.
version more.
basically, it's the difference between a show about shopping for a car and Pimp My Ride, is what I would
100%.
say.
Pimp my house.
It's definitely Pimp My Tiny House.
There's definitely a big aspect to that, especially this episode. So this episode essentially you have a couple has like semi bought a tiny home already. Then the show comes in and does additional renovations along with whoever's making the tiny house, it seems. And they go through the process of like, okay, what do you want in the house? What do you need in the house? And they're like, what do you like? And they'll build out something custom for each person living in the house. And that's kind of the show. You get to see what this tiny house looks like after it's finished construction.
You get the Maria Kondo phase of like, you got to get rid of all your shit because it won't fit in the house.
Maria Konda?
I don't know. What's her name?
Marie Kondo.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
Did I not? Roll the tape back. Maria Kondo.
Okay.
Maria Kondo. Maria Kondo. Maria Kondo.
It's
Nobody
Marie.
cares.
It's a Marie, not
No one
Maria.
cares. It's a Netflix whatever. Haven't seen it. Not gonna watch it.
But back to the fashion elevator.
So one thing I love.
Condoleezza Rice?
So I love tiny house shows because the people on them are insane. And these might be the most insane people I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
So there's this couple from LA moving to Tennessee. Their names are Rebecca and Ben, and they have 2 daughters, and they're moving into a 400 square foot like trailer that's going to be custom refit as a tiny house in this like place, and it's just absolutely insane. These people have jobs where they need actual space, and like they don't even have more than 1 bedroom in this place. It is nuts.
It just seems like in Tennessee you could find like an appropriately sized house for probably about the same amount of money as they paid to have this custom built tiny house. You know what I mean? Like,
Interesting enough, I was in the corner, the internet corner for new
the
listeners to
internet
show.
corner. Okay.
There is a shocking amount of tiny homes for sale on eBay. Like, it seems like this is a market.
The reason they're for sale on eBay is because people move into them, and then after 6 months, they're like, "Oh man, I don't have enough space to live here at all. I got to put this thing on eBay."
It could be. The prices are interesting. It's like, it seems like for the lower end, like $20,000. Mid-range, decent size, like this one, but custom. So, let me take back. Mid-range, decent size, you're going to be around $40,000. Custom seems around like 60, 70. And then like a bigger house, which is like 1,000 square foot, you start pushing like 100,000, 150,000.
All of a sudden, I'm very into this.
Yeah.
So
Oh no!
I was doing some internet cornering as well, and there's some recent news article about this couple and their house.
Ooh.
There was some in that article. We'll get back to the some of the more stuff in that article once we actually go through it. But they said that their TV production came in and contributed to the cost a lot,
Oh.
so that like, allowed them to make this tiny house because the TV company came in and provided like $50,000 worth of like labor and stuff.
Okay.
So that's one of our production schedule buttons. Like, well, how
that
much?
explains
How is
why
it?
these people would go on the show, right? It's like they cover the cost of like majority of this house, probably.
They're just like, "Hey, we're gonna fix up your house, but we gotta bring your mom in."
Yeah.
Can't talk about the mom, but
We'll get to that. So the original design of this house is insane. It's one giant room. It's like a studio apartment. There's like a giant studio kind of apartment-esque vibe where they've got the kitchen and the living room are one like with vaulted ceilings. So it's just like, nuts to nuts on this one. And then they have
Nuts to nuts.
What is
Nuts.
Like,
don't go back to the tape.
I was gonna let that pass, but what is nuts to nuts?
I don't know.
nuts,
Nuts to nuts.
nuts to nuts.
I don't know, but it sounds intriguing.
All right. So
What is
anyway,
this?
you're in this vaulted ceiling room. It's nuts to nuts.
At the end of it, it looks pretty nice, actually. Like if that was one of your houses in your many-roomed house.
One of your houses, your many-roomed house.
Did I just what?
You know when you're nuts to nuts, when you're many houses, your many roomed house.
Oh,
Oh, it's off the
we're off
rails.
the rails. We're too much quarantine today.
Yeah.
We got to get more fresh air, guys.
this is what happens.
So, bring us back to the nuts.
We're bringing back to the nuts. Then they have a bedroom, and then they have like a loft area that is the kids' room. So this 3-year-old and 1-year-old are living in essentially a loft that has a bed and like a little extra room to have some toys.
And that means that the parents are living in like the little nook between half of the stairway and the other half of the
Yeah.
stairway.
No, the parents' bed is literally next to the kid's bed.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, they're like, there's no privacy here.
Yeah, none.
There's like it's like imagine a room and there's like kind of one like 1 foot tall like platform that the kid's bed is on and it's just next to their bed. It's kind of what you're looking at.
Yeah, and both of them essentially have to sleep in the same bed, right? Like,
Yeah.
it is that is crazy. Like the fact that you're living with 2 kids in a tiny house, irresponsible. Noah definitely made a joke about how they should be called CPS should be called on them. There's just like not enough room for the 2 of them to be living at all. and then to put them right next to you, there's no banging, there's no privacy, nothing. There's no room.
Definitely not. And I'm curious, like, how long is this plan? You know, what kind of duration are we looking at?
Yo,
Because
they're-
these kids are 1 and 3 respectively.
Their dad's about to make it big.
He
What does that mean? I don't understand how that relates to the question.
No, it's there's this meme of like, you know, a Nashville guitarist or pianist, you know, just has to have his big break and then he's going to be a bajillionaire.
So is this you're saying this is a temporary thing?
That's probably what he said.
You're making a lot of eye gestures, which I feel like are difficult to pick up by mic.
It is weird though because they don't really explain that. Like
No.
they don't explain really why they're moving into the tiny home. Like they explain the move to Nashville,
Right.
but not the tiny home. and
Definitely
this is
not.
the part like the time of your life where like you have 2 small kids, like you want to get a bigger home.
Oh yeah.
They are getting the smallest possible home.
Right. So, like, is the plan that these girls are going to be living in this tiny house then for like the next 17 years? Or is it more Max saying is like it's some kind of temporary thing until he makes like his next big single?
But it's a lot of effort to move your baby grand piano into the tiny home. That can never leave.
Oh, man.
I mean, it left L.A.
It did. Barely.
It's their prized possession.
And they threw it in a pod with all of their other
Yeah.
garbage.
So they get this. They move to L.A. because the father does music, produces music, and wants to make it big in Nashville, I guess. In order to do that, he has a quote unquote baby grand piano. So it's not a stand up piano. It is like a shortened full size piano. It's nuts. They have to fit this in a 400 square foot house.
It is a huge piano. Like, I mean, it is, you know, in the piano sizing arena, at the very top is like, you know, like the concert grand piano, which is like what you put on stage at like a symphony. This is like one step down from this is the baby grand piano. It is a huge fucking piano.
It's not just a synthesizer. It is like something that you would be half reasonable in a tiny house. No.
Wait, I have a piano question. Maybe the internet corner can help here. Harrison spoke like with a lot of confidence around this
Oh,
piano
yeah.
sizing. So you're telling me there's a concert grand piano. That's the biggest. That's the big
Yes.
daddy.
That's
Then the next one is the baby grand? That
The
seems like we're
baby
missing the
grand.
grand. Where does the grand piano come
I
into
think
play?
Are you
that
saying-
is- I think that the concert grand is the grand. I think that like that's
no,
the grand.
but that's
piano.
the concert grand.
So the
just
grand
telling you.
piano refers to when it's sort of the harp shape, whereas there are like upright pianos and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, so the grand is just the shape of piano.
I mean, it's a whole format of piano, but yes.
Okay.
Are you
but
saying
like, I feel like I've heard people say like, oh, in my Manhattan high rise, I have a grand piano. I assume they don't have a concert grand piano.
They might if it's big, but they probably have a baby grand.
Man, I feel like this is the
Practically.
first time I've ever heard of the baby grand.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, it's big.
Baby grand is very common.
For sure.
Okay. I just want to clarify on the
We
piano
had
scale.
we had a baby grand piano in my house when I was growing up.
There you go.
my grandma has a baby grand piano?
A lot of people had great
A lot
baby
of
grand
spoiled
pianos.
people in this.
I might have a real grand piano.
So is that a
Like
concert? See, like I'm saying, like I feel like there's one in between here.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, no, I had a concert. Wait, did I?
Okay. All right. While you figure
Yes.
that out, we have to talk about the wife now. So the wife is a full-time mom, but she also went to school in LA to become a
Italian fashion designer
In LA.
in LA.
The way she teed that up, they're like, oh, so what do you do? It's like, well, I went to school for Italian fashion design in LA
You know, Nashville, great place to do Italian fashion design.
from LA.
Yeah. So she would like to have a place to do her fashion design, which is just bonkers. Like, Annabeth, can you explain to me what you need to do fashion? Like, what are the tools?
I mean, I am no designer, but what I've learned from the world is you need a lot of fabric. You need sewing machines. You need like the mannequins. You need just so much storage for all the stuff that you're going to be using.
Could that be done in 400 square feet? Like, if that was its sole purpose.
Maybe.
If you had like a 400 square foot studio, maybe.
What I didn't understand about this woman is that when she teed it up, it wasn't clear to me if she was super passionate about continuing it. And I felt like the host and co-host really ran with this one thing she said, and they were like, "We got to make a whole place for this." But like, it doesn't seem like she's gonna really try to go into this. It's like something she's studied in the past. At least that was my impression. I don't know how other people felt.
Max, what are your thoughts here?
I don't think you need any of that stuff. All you need, Chris, is your imagination.
Oh boy.
Very, very funny, Max. So then they talk to the dog, like about the kids, and they're
Talk
like,
to the dog?
they talk to the daughters. What I was gonna say. So when I said kids instead, did not talk to the dog, Max. This pot is off the rails.
Max is dying over there. I haven't seen this guy laugh this hard in years. Look at him. Look at him go.
It's the quarantine.
It's getting to him. Somebody let
So
some fresh air in.
the daughter does a lot of like ballet dancing. So then they had some idea about what they could do for ballet dancing in this house, which is nuts.
It's a fucking tiny house. It doesn't need this.
Like, of all the things this daughter needs, like ballet studio is not one of them.
But it's the only thing she'll be able to do in this house.
That's it.
That's all she can
nothing to
do.
She's in this like loft area. She grows another like 6 inches. She can't stand up. So there's no playing there. The only other room is this grand piano room. Like,
And there's no. Here's the thing also about ballet. From what I understand about ballet, you need a lot of space. Like they give
This
her,
is like
so they
the-
make a big deal about they're like, we're gonna make this mirror that folds out in a little ballet bar, but there's still no space to do ballet.
I don't know. Well, she's 3.
She's
Like,
3.
She doesn't need that much room as 3. But like 5, like that's not going to be. It's just ridiculous. It's so absurd. So like, as they go through this ballet thing, the dad was like, "We thought we'd have to build our own like ballet studio." We're like, it's like, what? Why are you moving in this tiny house if you're going to be building onto it? I'm so
Nothing makes
lost.
sense. Literally nothing about this house makes sense. Also, the ballet bar.
Well, so
That
they
is
added a ballet bar. So like, just to make this clear, they have like folded in like some side closet was this like mirrors that came out. And then they had this ballet bar come down and hook onto the window.
Is it secure?
So it's so that's what the show does. Is the show finds like a thing that like you want in this house and goes and builds some crazy contraption. So there's 3 kind of crazy contraptions built in this house, and this is one of them, where it's like this just some weird mirror thing. It's like it's like a door length mirror.
Not helpful,
Yeah. And
I would say,
And
as
then
someone
there's,
who
like-
doesn't know ballet.
there's like 5 or 6 shots of her doing ballet after like they opened it. And I'm just like, that's the last time she's using that thing.
They also, so we'll talk more about the grandma later, but they sell this whole thing as like, if we build something for the grandchildren, grandma will really get on board.
Yeah. So I've seen another episode where like the kid likes to climb and they put a climbing wall in and they put like a whole jungle, like they have a whole like park in the backyard. Like they did nothing here. There's literally nothing. It's not even a swing set.
I have the biggest bombshell. Oh! Blow this shit up.
Just do it.
Let's wait till
The
the
entire show's fake.
I think I know what he's talking about.
Okay, you're
Okay.
gonna wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I
this
think
is-
let's talk about what we know,
Major, yeah.
and then we'll talk about what happens afterwards.
Yeah, what happens after the show? Oh boy.
This all just reminds me of Pimp My Ride.
It is very close. It is very much. At least they're taking into account what I want, though. Pimp My Ride, they were always like, "You like football? Oh, now you've got like 18 TVs in here,
And 22 subwoofers.
and you've
And a
got
fish tank. And you're like,
but, like,
what?
the whole-
Why do I have a fish tank in my car? I don't know, but it's there now.
you got a bat, and you've got like a hot tub for one in the back. Like, what do I want that for?
The whole like sort of paying lip service to a random thing somebody says they like.
Yeah. So like the show is like them like discovering and building that unique thing. So for like the fashion thing was the most ridiculous thing. They built so underneath the bed apparently is where there's some extra space, and they built an elevator, like a shelf elevator.
Well, no, the elevator is next to the bed. Underneath the bed.
Yeah, I was just saying underneath the bed, they
Yeah.
found some room and they built a shelf elevator. So the shelf kind of comes up from the floor that's like next to the I'm still confused which
Well, and they sell this as like, oh, this is really gonna help you be a fashion designer. They fit like the top of a mannequin on it and like sort of a basket with like sort of a scarf-sized piece of material. There is nothing in there. There is
not- it's not
nothing.
much.
it's also like the shelf is facing the bed and it's right on the bed. Like you can't really get
Yeah.
to the shelf.
Ever.
Here's another thing I'm thinking of. So she's gonna produce some kind of fashion on this like sewing machine thing. Where the hell is she gonna put whatever she makes once she makes it? There's
That's
no
a-
closet.
Yeah,
Oh,
there are
she-
no closets.
This is easy. Whenever she needs clothes, she just makes them.
And then throws them away.
She better be making mittens. Not nothing else.
I guess the other thing was the bed folded up.
Wait, we gotta go back to the mittens.
I just kind of ignored Noah for a second there.
You can't be making full size clothes. Where they have shown 0 closets.
Tiny clothes.
Tiny clothes.
There's
Tiny house, tiny clothes.
Yeah.
That's
They're
the
not
name of her
tiny
business.
people. They're normal sized
no,
people.
they're not normal size. They're tall,
I mean, they're very thin.
very thin. They don't need that much cloth on them.
So are they becoming nudists?
No, they
Yeah,
have like
with all the
20-inch
mi-
waists. Like, they'll
But
be
like
fine.
realistically though, if you're going tiny house, might as well become a nudist. Like
Yeah, well, there's
Yeah.
no privacy in this house as is.
Just
like,
forget
if you want to
about it.
change, where do you go?
The
park
bathroom
your
had
house in the middle of the
privacy.
woods.
There are a lot of windows, though. I mean, if
Lot
anybody
of
walks
windows on this
by,
house.
I mean, why stop there? Why not give up your whole house? Give away all of your belongings. Become the Buddha.
The Buddha.
The Buddha. So-
Also, speaking of their size, even though they are small, every time I saw the scene of the hallway in this house, I was appalled. They have to turn sideways to get up their tiny hallway.
Yeah, there's so many things wrong with this house.
It is a tiny house. So I brought this up before the pod. I have stood in the tiny house before.
Oh, okay. Tell us more.
I did an Airbnb, like kind of like an hour outside of Portland, or Oregon. Doing
Why?
a tiny house.
Why would you do that?
My partner, said, and personally, I was in for it. Like, it was like a cute thing, and it was like kind of like a fun experience to try it. So we tried it. We brought our dog, which made it a little challenging because the bed is lofted and like 10 feet high, and so we had to concoct like a like a little rope for her, to make sure she wouldn't jump off the bed. But otherwise, like it actually is much more doable when you're in it. But again, like the biggest thing I'd say, and that you can see on a show, no TV, no couch. Everything's about reading,
Yeah.
right? Being in the Zen. Going back to
You
the
can
Buddha.
put a TV in this house easy. You just
Yeah. Of all the dumb shit, they put a baby grand piano. I told me they could have put a flat screen on one of these walls.
No, but that's like the big thing. Like if you look at all the tiny houses, there's no like let's lounge and TV. There's a lot of books, like architectural, like coffee table books that nobody wants to read, but there's nothing useful like a TV.
I've definitely seen TVs on this show.
I mean, this sounds like it was designed to be like an Airbnb, like kind of like getaway house, as
Oh,
opposed to like a living house, right?
We were on like an Airbnb ranch. There was like several tiny houses, kind of like nearby-ish to each other.
That sounds okay.
I'd say actually the thing they didn't touch on in the show, it's not a normal toilet. And
Tell me more.
So
Well, the one in this show looked normal.
it did. Yeah, they didn't go over. At least in the one we stood in, I forgot the name for it. There was a
Is that a
technical name.
compost toilet?
Yeah, exactly. So there's like compost, like in like the poop hole. I don't know the name.
Poop hole.
And so like what you do is you pee or poop in a toilet, you close it all up, and then you have to like crank a handle which like changes all the compost together, like shuffles it around, and that's like flushing.
I forget. Have we done Ice Lake Rebels on this
Yeah,
pod?
yes.
Okay, this because I feel like
We
they went
talked
over
about that
this
in that
on
one.
that show. as well. With same contents, because like basically the version of that show, in case you haven't seen it, really short, is you're living in a tiny houseboat in like a lake in the middle of Alaska, aka off
No
the
rules.
grid.
No rules.
No rules apply. But you got to compost your own poop.
Ain't no laws when you're
Ain't
on
no
the ice
laws
lake.
when you're drinking claws on an ice lake.
Claws on the lake. Noah, did your tiny house have a shower?
It did.
Okay.
Indoor, outdoor shower.
Because so
Indoor.
this bathroom in this tiny house is gigantic.
It's really
It's a big size bathroom.
It looks like a normal sized bathroom.
Yeah.
Give the girls that room. What is happening?
It's also the only room with a door in this house.
It's true. Does not have a shower, but it has a bathtub. I'm not sure.
Crazy bathtub.
I'm not sure I want a bathtub versus a shower.
No.
Like I want that shower most like 99% of the time.
You can't really get 100% clean in a bathtub, I feel
That's
like.
not true.
I mean, I feel like because you're just sitting in the water that's becoming dirty as you're washing yourself in it. So
Yeah.
it's impossible to become clean,
That's
I think.
just moving on. Like
Moving on. That was some juice.
I have a
Max.
question. Does a pencil house qualify as a tiny house?
What's that?
A pencil house. So I stayed in one of these in Tokyo. It's just a really thin house that might be like, really long and have 3 floors, but it's just really thin in one dimension. So like the
Oh.
whole thing was probably as wide as like half of this room.
which is like what, 5 feet? 6 feet?
Yeah, that seems 5 to 6 feet wide seems about right.
That's really small.
It was really fun.
So is one floor just all bed?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Was it a capsule, or would you just like?
No,
were
it
there,
was
like,
it was
capsule
it was
beds?
a 3-story whole house that we got to ourselves. It was wonderful.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So then we mentioned the music, right? So this guy,
Ben Richards.
Ben Richards, needed to have his piano, as we've talked about. But he also had to have 2 guitars and like extra recording equipment.
A
So
couple
like
of mics and a laptop.
so they installed like a bench that you pull out, and then another like workbench kind of thing to put your laptop on. And like it showed clips of them, like all 4 of them playing at the piano, all happy with there's just like all these windows around it. Like this room looks like the room when you went into your friend's house and they were like, we don't go into that room, it's their fancy room. This looks like their fancy room. It
Very
has
good way of putting it.
it has
Yes.
like these gaudy chairs, the grand piano, all the windows. Like I felt like I couldn't sit in these chairs. I couldn't
Totally.
be in this house.
It's not cozy at all.
No.
It's not really a place you want to be. And like also we mentioned as the show was going on, there are a lot of details that looks like sort of like outdated. Like the tiling in the kitchen is really weird. I don't know what the shapes are, but it's like very sort of like gold
so
accented and
I
weird
like
shaped.
the tiling.
Okay.
I like it.
No, like the tiles.
Definitely unusual. It's like very vaginal shaped.
Oh!
Pattern.
Oh,
What? Is that
it's a
true?
good descriptor.
It is. That's kind of the shape. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Like an olive with stems on both sides? Like I don't know.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. Like, we'll go back to the tape. You can look at the pattern.
Well, they
Yeah,
had
definitely not cozy.
They
Definitely
had
not cozy.
weird ceiling tiles, I thought.
Yeah, they have these like sort of aluminum or square ceiling tiles that sort of have like ridges around the edges. They are kind of strange.
Yeah.
It looked like they were trying to be fancy, but looked real cheap.
Yeah,
my
they
opinion.
also add like a chandelier in the middle. They have these curtains
yeah.
that look like
Forgot
sort of
about the
like
chandelier. He walks in, he's like,
weird.
we have a chandelier in our tiny house. I'm like, yeah, that's obnoxious. Why are your ceilings so
awful.
tall?
Every decision they made doesn't seem optimized for utilizing the space
at all.
efficiently in any sort of way.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe that this whole thing is fake and they're not living in
What
this
do you
thing at all.
mean that elevator thing's very practical?
Yeah,
No,
I'm
nothing's
gonna
practical.
take the contrarian view on their like living space room. You don't go in space. I think if you take a photo of that, it looks amazing. Like that, it looks incredible. Now, is it really the ideal like functional situation? I think there's
It's not
lot
a
of poor
functional house in
decisions
any way.
in that. Yeah, but it looks really nice.
If you were,
It's an opinion.
Yeah.
I don't care for the taste.
if you
But
were,
some
Totally
might.
cool.
if
Some
you
might.
were a single guy, you could totally live in this house.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
don't
this,
get the single guy vibe at all from any
No.
of this.
No,
house.
I'm just saying, like, as
No.
one person, you could live in this house.
Yeah,
like,
you'd have to
space-wise.
reconfigure everything.
Well, I mean, you just get the grand piano out of there, you put a TV there and a couch, you're good to go.
Like, there's just every design decision they took on the interior of the space just makes no sense. And nothing is functional.
I agree. There's definitely a lot of problems with the house.
One thing I'm just kind of realizing: does this house have any sort of kitchen?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
kitchen.
Humongous
like-
fridge, gigantic fridge,
Okay, the fridge. Okay,
full
that's
sink.
actually- they have,
I
like,
think a
range.
stove.
I
They
thought-
definitely didn't show a lot of that part of the house.
Yeah, they didn't really spend a lot of time talking about the kitchen, but
They
I do
didn't-
remember like them showing the sink for sure.
Yeah, because they decided to spend a bunch of nonsense time on the grandma.
Yeah, we'll have to get to the grandma.
well, listen, the
Grandma was
kitchen is
awful.
where the woman said, "I can't stop touching these tiles,"
Well, now we know why.
and now I'm horrified.
The yeah. So the other thing is like there's closets. There's got to be closets somewhere in this house.
No, they like Grandma asked if there
no,
were
there's
closets.
no closets up in the bedroom.
I don't
But
think
that
there are
doesn't mean
closets
there's no
anywhere.
closets.
The only sort of closet-esque thing is like the sort of like wardrobe that they built the mirror off of for the small girl dance studio. But there are 2 hooks on the wall in there with tiny dresses on them, and that's it.
Ballet dresses.
I don't think there's
Ballet.
any closets. They would have showed them off. It looks like it's everything like I know subterranean is not technically correct, but like subfloor, substair is all the storage space.
It seemed like she was pretty fashionable. She was wearing she was wearing a lot of weird like fashion kind of choices. She's got to have a lot of she's got to need closets. She needs shoes, like what's going on here?
Well,
Where are they
even-
keeping all their hats? They had different hats constantly. Every shot there was a different hat.
That is true.
There's just
They
a
love
hat
hats.
shelf.
But
It's
like
the only shelf.
even if you were sort of minimal in like your clothing, the clothing of 4 people, especially 2 kids, like it's gonna take up so much space.
Yeah, on that note, when they come out to move in, they show this pod. So they like move from LA, they're like, this is all the stuff we moved here, and it's just a giant ball of mess. The like thing was like bigger than the house, and it was full to the brim, and they're just like shoving stuff out of there, and it's like they got a weird fence thing, they got some yoga mats,
They've
they
got like
that
patio
Bosu ball.
furniture.
They got so much stuff in this thing. Not alone, I didn't see any clothes. Didn't see any toys for the kids. Like these kids, CPS has to call for these kids. Like this is absurd.
It's absurd. If these girls develop any other hobby, like they can't do
They're
it in
just
the
done.
house.
They're done. There's
feel-
nothing.
I feel like Noah has to reveal, the prestige.
Yeah.
He has to reveal what's gonna bust it wide
Well,
open.
we can finish going over the show. but
Well,
yeah,
we're
there
almost
is The dynamite.
We got the mom. I think the mom is like the one down, like the biggest downside of this episode. Usually, I haven't seen this on other episodes, but they fly the mom in from LA, or the mom flies in from LA.
The grandma.
Yeah, the grandma. Sorry, you're right. And she's like, we're not sure if she's gonna like it or not because we haven't told anyone. And you're like, why do I care what their grandma thinks? I don't even barely care what you think. Just want to see you crazy people try to move into this really small house and what these people do to customize it. That's what I want to see. And we have to spend like good 10 minutes or like good 5-10 minutes talking about this grandma. And then she comes in, she's just smiling. I don't think she gave 2 fucks.
No, she was happy she got to see her kid.
She definitely hated the house, but she was uber polite about it in a very non-interesting to watch way.
Yeah.
It was boring as
It was just boring. Like there's just you don't really care. You're like, okay, whatever. Let's just get on with it. Let's get back to the show. It's just a bunch of filler.
It was
no reason.
It was very much filler. Like chop those 10 minutes off the show, much better.
Yeah, I liked having her in. I didn't think they beleaguered the point too much, and it was like a realistic view because this couple, Ben and Rebecca Richards, don't seem the most responsible. And so they bring in Rebecca's mom to be like, "Oh yeah, these people are nuts."
Yeah, I think Rebecca's mom is like the audience surrogate of like walking into the situation and being like, "What are you doing? Where are the closets? Like, where are my grandchildren gonna live?"
Seething
She was
through her
like-
teeth.
She was like, "Where's the other bedroom?"
Yeah. I love your point of them, the audience surrogate. We got to use that more often.
It basically is. It was like a very sane person realizing the horrors of what was happening, and then the host dudes are like trying to justify it. They're like what you don't realize is the quality of construction of this house is on par with that of a normal house, and like my friend grandma, like she clearly knows that is not the problem. The problem is not the quality of construction; it's everything else.
Oh, yeah.
So when you did the internet research, like you go to these guys' websites and they're like, what's the difference between a mobile home and a tiny house?
Oh, these guys get so offended if you call
Yeah,
the
you
tiny
can't.
house a mobile
So like
home.
the grandma was like, that's a mobile home. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And they're like,
Slow your roll.
their claim is that they use real building techniques to make the tiny home versus like a mobile home doesn't necessarily have like insulation or is like aerodynamic in ways that like like these homes aren't. You know, I
makes
can
sense.
see that point being
get it.
made, but like this home definitely could be like almost pretty close to a mobile home. Like it's on a trailer. You can move it.
I think it depends on like what you understand to be behind those words, right? When you think of like a trailer home, it's like cheap vinyl siding, right? Like not like the best interior, and like I agree with their pushback. Like clearly, quality is going into the construction of this, but it is just inappropriate for a family to live in.
Here's my other question.
It can be a
It's-
nicer mobile home.
It's definitely
Still
a
the
nice
same damn
mobile
thing,
home,
or a
but
trailer. Like,
so they move it and then they put the piano in it. I don't know if you can move it again with that piano like standing up in it. Like
No.
basically now it
Not
it
safe.
is permanent.
No,
you have to
that's fine.
mobilize it.
I mean,
It
it's,
seems fine, yeah.
pianos are, as they showed in the show, extremely heavy.
You can lock the
You
wheels.
don't think it's dangerous?
No, yeah, and you can lock the wheels, and if it's
Okay.
on pegs, you can put the little rubber stamp. Like, I'm not too concerned. I'd actually be more concerned with, like, because, again, it's so heavy, it's the looser things when you're actually driving that that are going to go all topsy-turvy.
Yeah. 2 kids around that grand piano. Like what? What's wrong with you?
Those kids' lives are going to be very strange if this is indeed a real.
They're gonna
thing.
have rude awakening. They go to school. Like, you mean you don't live in a 1-room bedroom and see your parents bang all the
They're
time?
going to be so happy. Their desk is going to be like palace. You know, they have a drawer on their desk. They have a little container for
Yeah.
their pencils.
That is like, what do you do when these kids have homework? They have nowhere to like study.
You definitely can't live in this house for more than 2 years.
The recording session's over. Homework time.
Noah, all right. I think it's time.
We're going to bust it open.
Do
Yeah,
it.
bust it open for us, Noah.
All right, so let's all take a breath. This is a big one. So I wanted to understand.
They're all Mormons.
What?
Never mind.
I don't think they're Mormons. They could be.
Come on.
I wanted to find out like what's going on with Ben Richards. Like, did he have a career? You know, like did he make all the bajillions? So I'm like trying to dive my way through the internet.
He's an actor.
Not an actor.
Did he
So-
flip the tiny home immediately?
We're getting hotter. So the tiny home was not completed
What?
when they shot the show. And the financial and legal contracts of this is, I'm not sure if they showed it, but basically the Richards, they bought this home from a builder. Unclear. I don't think it's the people on the show.
No. So on the article I read, it was where is it?
Bledsoe or Beltso, whatever.
Yeah, there was a different. So Tiny House Nation producers came in to help, but there was Tiny House Chattanooga was the construction company.
Which is basically they contacted Tiny House Chattanooga, a company, to buy a tiny home. So they were working with this person there, and like, hey, by the way, you can get subsidized for this house if you let Netflix come in and document it. You get $47,000. Like, cool, let's go ahead. I guess due to when they were shooting it, the home wasn't fully done, And so they shot it, and then they're like, great, we're going to take the home back, finish it, which is going to take a little bit, and then you'll get the home, and we're good to go. The Richards say, okay, go finish the home. Tiny House Chattanooga, while they have the Richards home, gets evicted. And the Richards find out that they never actually got the title of the property of the land that they're on or ownership of the house. So their tiny home goes missing.
What?
They lost the home. They don't know where it is. It is still gone to this date.
That's
What?
They set up a GoFundMe to try to go find us, which has raised a very small amount of money, unfortunately. And they're just shit out of luck. Like, the house got evicted. This building company put it up online for sale. They found it for sale online, but have not been able to track it down. All the lawyers are just like, yeah, you never had the title. You never had the property. The land it was on was not for you. And they're just kind of stuck sitting there, pretty sad.
So is all that, like, is the piano and all their stuff in the house and when it goes missing, or is it just like a bare bones house because it was still being constructed?
It was a little bit more vague on the details, although they do say that there's thousands and tens of $1,000s worth of property in the house that they were never able to retain.
No.
So I assume at least a piano and probably some other things were in their tiny home.
what the fuck?
Yeah, they it seemed like they moved in, and at some point they got evicted.
No. They didn't get. So they might have temporarily lived there, but the tiny home had to go back to like the work site to be completed. And when it went back to the work site, this tiny house Chattanooga got into the worst things, and then they tried to sell the house, and it never got back to the Richards. And unclear what the Richards are doing today. But basically, they lost this home. They don't know where it is, and that's the end of the story.
I think Grandma had something to do with it.
Oh.
Yeah, there was also something in the article where like one of the things they wanted was like what's like a hippie style, like this has to be all like reclaimed wood and like good building practices.
Healthy, yeah.
Like,
yeah. There was
I don't remember what the
So in the article, they oddly touch on this, which seems kind of like a tangent, but they hired a specific contractor because they promised they're going to be building in
healthy home kit.
a healthy home, which it's like lowercase of the LinkedIn. So it seems very up in the air. But anyway, so the things they need to bring it back for is supposedly they'd uncover that some of the materials are not up to par with the standards of healthy home kit. Again, who knows what that means. And that was actually the reasons why it's going back to be fixed, because they paid a premium to get this healthy home kit material to build the house.
Okay.
Yeah, so they definitely moved in. It says that at some point they had to be evicted because the property they were on, like, they didn't own it.
Correct.
So they
the
were
title was in Tiny House Chattanooga.
Yeah.
So
So
they
as
had
the
no claim.
Yeah, they have no claim to this house. So essentially it's like buying a house but not getting the deed or the title or anything. And then
Correct.
being evicted, Tiny House Chattanooga took their house back.
This is terrible.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Wow.
Like, and there's literally no updates. Like, I tried finding, like, hey, what's happening today? Just like the information
Hey, if you
stream
contribute-
just shuts down.
If you contribute to that GoFundMe, you could probably ask some questions.
That's true.
Potentially.
How much has been funded?
990
know?
something.
Out of like $25,000 goal.
What do they want to do with that money, though? Like hire a PI to find the house?
Buy a new tiny house, maybe.
So my article was from July 8th, 2019. So,
They're all from then. So they
not
Oh.
too long ago.
the local ABC affiliate, they did like an interview with them, and
Some
that
sorta-
spawned a bunch of internet articles from June. It's all like June 20th, 2019, and that is the end of the information stream.
Wow.
Like, I couldn't find him on Twitter. I haven't checked on Facebook yet. I'm sure you could probably find some more details, but like, it gets sparse.
But you never told us. Did he make it big in the music business?
Granted, then I typed in Ben Richards musician, it brought up a different Ben Richards. He could be in a band.
He could have a stage name.
Could have a stage
And
name.
that name is
Ben
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah. Let's go with negative.
Maybe he got some face tattoos and now he's posty.
Could be.
Rich Benny.
Posty doesn't wear enough hats. Anyone else got any of the minutia they want to talk about?
There's a point where they add bars on the windows of this
Oh
house.
my god.
Terrible addition.
Oh, and they
Ugly,
planted.
giant black bars on these white painted windows. These like French windows.
Instant curb appeal.
Instant.
Instant curb appeal.
They also put plants over the wheels, so you couldn't see the wheels.
I think
But
that
you
was a
still
good
kind of
move.
could.
No, I know. Yeah. Well, they let them grow a little bit, Annabeth, and like
Okay.
maybe by the
okay.
time they got evicted.
Then the plans had taken hold.
Ratings then? Ratings, everyone. I'll start it out. I'm gonna go top third. I love these shows. I love these people are crazy, and it makes me feel better about myself watching crazy people be crazy. So, top third. Annabeth, what do you got for me?
I'm also going to go top third. I feel like if I were trying to do the thing they are doing in the show, I would be very anxious and upset. But watching them do it is very fun.
Yeah.
So top third.
Harrison, what do you got?
I think this is going to be a middle third show for me. I mean, I think it was kind of interesting and entertaining. I'm just not sure kind of how many episodes sort of longevity I have here. It also seems like, I don't know, it seems a little bit manipulative by the show, and like this is really these people's lives we're dealing with, and there's really about to be a family of 4 living in this thing, and they're putting in a fucking ballet bar, and like, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it seems like they're not taking it seriously enough for like what this family's getting into. But yeah, middle third.
Brian, what do you got?
I'm gonna go top third, middle of the top. I like honestly, the ingenuity there is super cool. Like we also talked about like watching like BattleBots, and like this made that fix of like making stuff.
We didn't talk about the animations.
Oh yeah.
Oh, big miss.
Brief interlude in the ratings is that they had like they would show like, hey, we're gonna make this like fashion elevator thing, and then they would just like have these like weird flashing animations that go up and down, like Woody the Woodpecker
weird.
just kind of going like, you can't see my hand go up and down, but it's
Very quickly. It's kind of like I feel like the cartoon style is like when you're on an airplane and you have the safety pamphlet
yeah.
and it's kind of like very quickly like shows you like what you would have to do. That's kind of like what this is, but it's like a very fast.
yeah.
It's like you will turn the switch and the bed goes up and down and up and down.
So one of the things I guess while watching a couple episodes of these is like every time they like have like a bar come out, you know, when you pull out like a drawer, it's kind of on like a rail and it feels good. Like it feels like it's on,
Yeah.
like none of this stuff has rails.
No.
They're just like, yeah, you pull it out like this. Hopefully you don't pull too hard. Hopefully like you got it the right way. Cause like the bench has this same animation, but then it's like very manual process to pull out this bench. It's not a like one hander like thing that you would normally see.
We also didn't discuss very briefly how slow the fashion elevator was when they finally
Oh
did
my
the big
God.
reveal and showed it in the place.
Nobody will ever use this.
They turn it on and it's like ascending and everybody's like really excited to see it for the first time and they have a whole conversation and the thing is still not at the top.
It's probably like a centimeter a second, I feel.
It's definitely the only thing you put there is fabric. Like you can't put anything heavy. The the heavier things in there, the slower the thing's gonna go.
Oh yeah.
It's already not fast enough.
It looks like it's going to break within a week.
Oh yeah. And then who are you gonna call? Hey, guy from FYE or whatever, I need you to come fix your
My
stupid.
fashion elevator is
I need you to
broken.
come fix my fashion elevator. Max, give us your rating.
Sorry guys, bottom third. Top of the bottom.
Harsh.
I was pretty bored.
Okay.
No, what do you got?
I feel conflicted because I've been like on a very high level, but I like the show as well. So I'm gonna go bottom of the top. I think it's like the show moved. There's a lot of cool like technical detail and like innovative thinking. There was a bit of minutia that was just really not helpful to playing a storyline, which is like, hey, we're building this cool thing. So I think there's progress. I'll probably watch more of it.
James, what do you got?
I completely disagree with Noah. Not disrespectfully, but I just disagree in that I thought this show was all fluff, no details.
Yeah.
A bunch of crazy people that felt the stories and drama and the situation felt so fake that I have no aspiration to watch any more of the show ever again. So for me, it's definitely the bottom. I will put it in the top of the bottom of the production quality and watchability in terms of like the way they presented it and transitions and like all that kind of stuff. It was reasonable, but like if I'm just judging on this episode, there's just not enough here. And I agree with Max. I was just kind of bored, and I'm just like, let's get on with it already. Like, show me something a little more. So that there you go, top of the bottom.
Have we discussed how weird these people are?
Not enough.
I mean, that's why I love these shows.
The people buying the house, the mom and the dad, they just don't really seem like real people to me. It's really odd. It's very hard to place my finger on.
Yeah, you have to peel that onion. Like, what's not real about them?
They definitely don't seem real.
How does a full-time musician and a full-time mom work?
Through inheritance.
That's why they buy a tiny house.
Even so, I don't know.
Just their whole situation
Their
didn't
whole
make any
situation
sense.
makes
Why were
zero
they
sense.
fleeing LA? Why was all their shit not packed up and in this pod in a junk pile?
but it's not
why
just like-
is their most prized possession a baby grand piano? Why do they not care at all about functionality?
These
There's
seems
so
like
many
easy
questions.
Actually, I'm more confused about other questions. Like baby grand piano, costly investment. He's a musician. He explained why LA to Nashville because he wanted to be a musician. Nashville is better for musicians. Also, I
No.
kinda disagree with that.
Why the sudden leave of LA? It looked like they got evicted from their house in LA and they had 24 hours to get their shit out.
The pod was in disarray, which gives them a lot of credit for like how they're managing their life.
Yeah.
This pod
Where are all
has
their
been in
clothes?
disarray.
They're
What?
fake as hell because there's no clothes. They don't have normal things
Oh,
people
yeah.
have.
It's very mysterious why they don't tell any of their friends and family about this. I think that's sort of unsettling. I think it's also both of them have this sort of weird detached attitude about
Yeah.
like moving into the house and like what the house is going to look like. Like it seems like they're not engaged with the process really. I think that's what's most weird about them.
Perhaps they don't trust the process.
They don't.
It definitely didn't seem like they had a bunch of input or like passions around how the thing looked or
Yeah.
felt or like just put whatever wherever. Yeah, put a sewing table into the bed.
Yeah, it felt like a thing happening to them.
Yeah. They were just like along for the ride.
They definitely seem like they're hiding something. I completely agree.
So
Wait. I gotta throw something out
Okay.
there. They're both dark hair people.
Where is this going to go? Can anyone predict? Wait,
No
before
idea.
where could this possibly
Noah
You
has
notice
go?
dark
the kids?
hair?
You notice the kids?
Oh, the seed is strong. It's Game of Thrones.
No, they're not dark hair. The kids.
Are you saying they stole kids?
I'm
From
I'm-
LA?
I'm just,
Where is that where you came from?
I'm-
Well, I don't know what he's implying.
I am just throwing like a twig out there.
they
But,
could
like,
have both blonde recessive.
like clearly if they cared more about the kids, they'd be in some situation. I think there's like
What do you got to tell me what you think? What is
I
happening?
don't know if they stole the kids. I don't know if they're like using them
So
for the
what?
show.
Okay. So what role? What role is the grandma playing? Who is the woman who's the grandma?
Checkmate. That's
What
a
do you
good point.
mean?
That's a
She's
good
in
point.
on it.
Yeah,
She could be an actor.
she could be in on it, but like
She's
their
their real mom.
their disregard for the kids is a little odd.
Yeah, that 1-year-old's just climbing a flight of stairs. Is that normal?
No.
I mean, it's a very impressive 1-year-old.
Right. Like, it feels that's a little dangerous, right?
You know what? Maybe their parenting skills have a lot for us to learn from if their 1-year-old is climbing stairs.
Can I ask just the room at large? Like, if you were moving into a tiny house, like, what would your focus be? Like, what is the hobby you want it themed around, or like, what is the thing you need to have in there?
Boat life.
See, this is very easy for me.
Okay.
Like a good couch with a good TV and a good sound system.
Okay.
I feel like that would be most of the people's, and like most people's.
That's too basic. I need what is your? Do you want a Mandel house?
No.
So I've seen another episode, and in this episode, like this family of 4, they move into quote unquote tiny home. It's a 3-bedroom and a living room tiny house. So it's not really, it's not a tiny house. And they build a playground in the backyard for these kids to play in, and they install a pool.
What?
In this time, that's like one of the like episode like further on. It's nuts.
Is the pool inside?
No, the pool's outside.
Okay.
They're in Florida.
So it's like a permanent house. It's not
Yeah.
like on. Okay.
Did they have the title to the land in this case?
I don't know. Probably.
So I'm still wrapping. So these Chattanooga tiny homes. So they effectively, it looks like, own some type of farm that they are running some kind of scheme on, where they get you to pay for some kind of a mobile home, tiny home, and you can just put it on their land and live there. But you don't actually own the home. You don't actually have any rights to the land. They're just filling up this farm with a bunch of tiny homes. Is that?
And then they take the home back and kick you out.
Yeah, and then they make sure you don't own the home. So in case they need to close up shop, they can just sell
Well,
these tiny homes.
What if they just didn't actually pay their rent or anything?
Who?
Like these people not looking
They would
like
get
they're earning
booted.
a lot of money. So
Yeah.
like,
I think they would just get booted.
yeah,
basically.
exactly. They
Could
could have
be.
just got evicted in a regular fashion.
And they created a whole scheme around this.
It definitely seems like more of like a rental situation with a really high like orientation fee kind of thing, where like you have to like drop like a shit ton of money and like
Yeah.
get this house, and then it's just like, well, now you're just like renting it basically from
It's
these
just like
people.
it's like they gave you the mortgage.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of what it seems. And then you don't own it at the end.
Who knows? Anyway, so we got some sort of Love is Blind action this week.
Oh yeah.
We had there was a Love is Blind reunion show.
catch us up on the timeline of Love is
So-
Blind and where we're at today.
I'm not sure that everybody has seen all of Love is Blind.
Yeah, it's when
It's fine.
spoiler alert for Love is Blind. If you want to leave the room, you can leave
Okay.
the room.
So I actually have a non-spoiler type of update
Oh, okay.
for Love is Blind.
Non spoiler right now.
Okay, so non-spoiler update first. Okay, so we did Love is Blind a few weeks ago here on the
Yeah.
pod, and I have some juicy information to share here. We got an anonymous tip to our whoputthison@gmail.com email address.
Email us your tips.
Email us your tips if you have them. And we have some firsthand experience here with some question and answer of somebody who was on the season of Love is Blind.
What?
And to protect the anonymity
Excuse
of
me?
people, I am not going
Max
to
was
reveal.
out, but he's back in.
Someone emailed us?
I'm not going to reveal who this contestant is.
Holy
But
shit.
I can verify the authenticity of it.
How?
And
Wait. You gotta
it
go
came.
through that.
So
No, it's fine.
No,
No, it's
Just-
no, it's
Just shut up and listen
we
for a
gotta get
minute.
the trust of our listeners.
It's fine.
He did
it's
it.
verified.
Hey, post this
Shut
on
up,
your
we're
Twitter
listening.
if you're that person or whatever.
the context of the content is that it is a list of question and answers from a coworker, basically. So this is effectively a bunch of questions that were asked of somebody who was on Love is Blind, and these are the answers to them.
This is mind-boggling.
Pretty crazy. Okay. First question. Why did they film so long ago and just now release? Apparently, the show was filmed a long time ago.
a year and a half, according to the reunion special, which who knows when that was recorded.
Yeah, so it says we knew they were aiming for Valentine's Day 2019 release, and they just missed the deadline to get the show done. So I guess they shot the thing in 2018, tried to get it done for Valentine's Day 2019, and it came out in Valentine's Day 2020. Okay, that's first thing. Second, how were Nick Lachey and Vanessa? They were cool. Nick was really nice, and Vanessa was even nicer. They came by often and
Oh my
talked
god,
with us.
no way! They were barely on that show.
Nick seemed uptight, but Vanessa would chat with us.
I feel like that's a lie.
We never saw Nick and Vanessa even on the show,
No,
really.
They were on the show like twice.
Yeah, so I can't believe that they were coming by to hang out
I
with them.
can't believe this person emailed us.
It's pretty crazy.
I love that we're getting production schedule minutia
Oh, I know.
to help
There's,
us understand.
Like, Yeah, like most of why this is amazing is there's some good production schedule minutia. Okay, here we go. What did you eat? Everything. Every meal was catered from Zoe's Kitchen or somewhere nice.
Ooh.
It was all catering style meals, and there wasn't a bad meal.
When they were in the pots, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So there's some more info on kind of the location logistics. Okay, next, did the show finance the engagement rings, and where were they from? I'm not sure where they were from, but yep, the show paid for all of them, as we often expected these sorts of things.
Nice.
Man, such an expensive show.
Where did you shower and brush your teeth? For the first week, we stayed in trailers in the parking lot.
Oh,
So we had bathroom trailers for showers and a closet trailer for storing our wardrobes. Near the end of the first week, the girls complained so much that they put us in a hotel afterwards.
That kind of makes sense, though. It's like a lot like this Hollywood production studio kind of lots,
Yeah.
right?
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
we definitely questioned where they were living. We thought
Yeah.
they were just living at home.
For sure, because it's it's definitely a weird space you never see where they're sleeping or anything like that. Okay. Did you have access to unlimited alcohol? Oh, yes. It kind of felt a little bit like spring break. They ask us for any requests and run to the liquor store and just grab it for us. We were making martinis and old fashions all day long.
Yikes.
After the third day, we all slowed down, but not by a lot.
The third day.
Oh, my God. Okay. Here's a good one.
I can't believe it.
Was there monetary incentive to make it to the altar and or get engaged? You get paid for every week you're on the show, so it's 10 weeks of filming, so the people who were there for a week got paid $1K. The people that were there but didn't get engaged got $2K, and then the people who got engaged got $10K. And then people get paid for the reunion show and other appearances and things like that.
Yeah, as I've said that people do that, but people don't believe me that they get paid to be on each episode.
Yeah. Hey, I've believed you, and there's certainly an incentive for these people to stay on these things.
Definitely isn't a lot.
No.
I mean, if you extrapolate out, right, that's
Not a lot of
$50,000 a
money,
year,
but
right?
it
It's
is
like-
like $10K a week. I mean,
No.
they're not-
10K if you get engaged. That's the end of the show.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no.
a 10-week show. 1K
that
a week.
engaged is like after the first week.
Yeah.
No.
So
They get married at the end.
Yeah, so the engagement's after 2 weeks. So if you get engaged, it's $2K, and then if you get married, you get $10K.
Yeah, so like $1,000 a week. It's just like it's.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but it's an incentive to be on the show.
Did you
Better than
really?
being unemployed.
Yeah.
Did you really not see each other? Not at all. They had us on real lockdown. That's good. The integrity of the experiment has
integrity
been
of the-
preserved. That's good. How was the show pitched to you? Through Instagram. I posted a picture one day, and the next morning, I had a casting recruiter asking me if I was interested. Other cast members were contacted through Tinder.
Huh.
Pretty interesting way to do that. Did the contestants sign prenups? Somewhere in the contract mentioned that there's a 6-month divorce clause where Netflix would pay for it and both parties would leave with what they had, but I think after 6 months it was up to the individuals. I bet prenup would have to be set up individually too. Okay. How much time did you have to take off of work? I asked for 3 weeks off because if you stayed all the way till the end of Mexico, then it's 3 weeks effectively. How long did the dates in the pods last? Hours. Apparently, as the show went, they got longer. The first round was semi-quick, but we would make lists of who were our top dates, and then we'd have longer dates with our top connections. We would start the dates around noon, and they would go to about 2 a.m.
Oh my
Whoa.
god!
14 hours of dating in the pods. No
They-
cell phones or
oh
connection to
my
the outside
God.
world. The days seem to run into each other.
They definitely had a lot of martinis. in
Yeah,
those
some
sessions.
drinking.
Holy shit.
And then, are you friends with anyone still? Yes, we have a group me chat going with all 30 of us.
Group me. Wow, they're
Which
keeping it
is-
alive.
That
pretty
Micro-
wild.
Got that Microsoft actually going.
Yeah, a little Microsoft, whatever.
This is incredible.
So there you go. It's a pretty juicy bit of information we got
Everything
there.
that just happened in the last 5 minutes is like a dream come true.
Yeah. So how did they find us? They.
I think that the person that emailed is a listener of the show, and they know that they saw that we did the Love Is Blind episode, and they thought we might be interested in doing it.
Can we send them a follow up? Like, how the hell did you find us?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
that
could-
that is like the more like Amazing answers, but I'm very intrigued. How
Hey,
they-
if you're listening to Who Put This On and you want to be interviewed, just email us. We'll interview anybody.
Especially
incredible.
Hoop of the Sun listeners.
Yeah.
If that's
yeah.
your only claim to fame.
Who put this on at gmail.com. If you have any tips, want to tell us any stories, we're certainly open to that.
Harrison, so I gotta, and if you can't go through excruciating detail because it would reveal the source, how do you verify that this is someone with the real details?
I think I'm just going to keep that a secret for now so we don't accidentally reveal
Okay.
the source of the information.
So
okay.
I'm not going to say I don't know how he did it, but a way you could do this is you email the person, hey, you have a public Twitter
Sure,
account that, just tweet something on that and I'll know it's you.
I get it. Yeah, no.
No,
I
it's
get
the
it.
newspaper. You take a photo with today's newspaper.
My
What does that
God, the
prove?
level of minutia we are so deep in right now. Come on, guys. Like,
No, this is
Jesus.
No.
this is WPTO.
you're like 3 layers deep in the production of how we verify people that we're getting. Like, move on.
Why would
All
the
right.
listeners believe us?
No
We gotta-
one cares, Noah. We gotta move
Oh
on.
my
I am
God.
the audience surrogate for our listeners.
I have a 10-second update.
Yeah.
A new season of the challenge is coming. That's it. April 1st.
Yes.
And the theme has been announced.
Don't tell me what the theme is. I'm trying not to watch that trailer.
I don't want to know shit.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Going
will
in
note-
blind.
You will note I said absolutely nothing.
I need to plug a show because we usually talk about just other
Okay.
shows. Don't Fuck with Cats.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a
I watched that.
Netflix documentary. It is a little haunting. Like I will definitely put that out there. But an excellent like true crime documentary.
Crew
Like
trying?
crew crime.
Oh wow, yeah.
That quarantine.
Crew crime.
People are getting whacked.
Let's roll with it. Crew crime.
This last week's episode of Curb was amazing. It was so good.
Man, I need to catch up.
You gotta this season's been hit or miss, but this last episode was just so good.
One of the best of the whole series.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, question: I've not watched all of Curb.
Yeah.
I've watched many seasons, but definitely not all of it. And I know they did that whole weird thing where like they did the one season, but like every episode was a different take or whatever, and I kind of fell off the rails around that point. Do I need to go back and see that stuff?
I don't remember that.
I don't know what
appreciate
you're talking
this
about.
one?
A different take.
Like, I don't know. There was one where somebody went to India.
You're
but
talking
then
about
was-
Arrested Development.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh God!
I'm like, that's why this isn't making sense.
Oh boy!
That was a whole different rail.
Different
Not
show.
different
So was Arrested
show.
Development back?
No.
No.
Well,
Damn
it
it.
was back
Yeah.
last year. I would not recommend
Supposedly
watching
making
that.
a
Right.
movie, but
Okay,
Uh,
but Curb is just normal Curb.
Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry
That's the Larry
David.
David one.
Yeah.
That
correct.
one's good.
The only
I like that
thing
one.
about Curb, so they're on season 10.
I definitely haven't
season-
seen all of them.
Season 9, it takes a more absurdist kind of angle where, like, previously it's like Larry just does things you're just like cringing, and like I kind of believe it. They get to a level just like it's just now purely absurd in certain situations.
It's the season 7 through 9 of Seinfeld. It's getting more absurd.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's it for us this week. You can find us on Twitter at @HoopWithTheSon. You can find us on Facebook.com/HoopWithTheSon. You can email us questions and suggestions at HoopWithTheSon@gmail.com.
We'll email you questions.
Raspberry and cranberry, a killer combination.
Hi, my name is Max. I'd like to talk to you about dramatic roles in such films as Splash, Turner and Hooch, A League of Their Own, and Sleepless in Seattle.